Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Data Analytic Group 1 Hour Byte. And today's topic is Copilot in Microsoft Fabric. And the speaker is none other than Amit Chandak. He is a Chief Analytic Officer at Canerica and he is a Microsoft Data Platform MVP and thought leader for many of the community leaders and community members who will want to share the knowledge. And he is globally recognized in the Fabric community. He given more than 14,000 plus solutions on Microsoft Fabric community and helping nature of this. And he's also a YouTuber and he's going to give a session on Copilot in Microsoft Fabric. So Amit, there, right?
Yes, thanks,
Yeah.
Ryan. Thanks
Uh,
for the introduction, uh, and thanks for this
Thank you so
opportunity.
much for speaking.
And I welcome all of you on the Saturday morning. Hope you will enjoy this session. And in today's session, we are going to talk about Microsoft Fabric and Copilots and the data agent, but we have part of this. And what I'm doing is those of you want to connect with me, I'm just sharing my IDs into the chat window, whichever medium you are available, you can connect with me there. And you can also scan some of those QR code which are available here. So let's start today's journey. So I'm sure most of you are aware of what is Microsoft Fabric, but just for the introduction, let me tell you why this platform is there and what basically it's offering. And after that, we will go into the details of what the Copilot stuff which is available with us in Microsoft Fabric. So Microsoft Fabric is end-to-end data analytics platform which allows enterprise to create unified solution. Now, it what all it provides you data movement, processing, ingestion, transformation, real-time routing, report building, and it has certain workloads which include data engineering, data factory, data science, real-time analytics, data warehousing, and database. So it's a comprehensive platform. So why do we need such a comprehensive platform? Doesn't we have all these things already available, isn't it? So we do have all these things available. And what happens to create such a platform, such a comprehensive platform, we need to buy them separately. Let's say if you go to Azure, you might choose Azure Data Factory, you might choose Databricks for your transformation or data science. Then you might use CustoDB for real-time analytics. You might use Power BI. So you can buy, you can create a kit, but kit is not, you know, cohesive in nature. It is not which works seamlessly with each other. It has different experiences. So every item is still individualistic in nature, but that doesn't happen in Microsoft Fabric. In Microsoft Fabric, the entire platform has been made like a unified platform. When you go inside Microsoft Fabric, when you see Lakehouse, when you see Warehouse, when you see real-time analytics, or even for that say for say OLTP database, which is known as SQL database, you will feel the similar experience. Now it is not similar experience. It's not that Microsoft has created Kit and given you this common logins. No, they did a ground up work, and that ground up work includes few things. One is one lake, the common storage, the virtualized storage for entire tenant. So for entire tenant, you have that one lake which where you can store all these data sets. And it is virtualized and it do take care of your regional aspect at the workspace level. So you have a virtualized one lake. Now in this one lake, there could be data which is structured, unstructured. Now the entire structured data, irrespective of the engine which is saving it, it can be saved in delta format. So lakehouse and warehouses have their native format as delta format for tables. So it means if I'm saving data using lakehouse or using data flow gen 2 or data pipelines, or even I'm saving it via T-SQL in warehouse, all are getting saved in one common format that is known as delta parquet format, and that can be read across. Engines like Power BI has been enabled to read from Delta Parquet. So you don't need an additional storage for Power BI. We prefer import mode in Power BI. We want everything inside Power BI because it works best. But this is, the best of the world of direct query and import mode, where everything but the import mode is needed is working, but data is not owned by Power BI. It is still owned by Lakehouse, Warehouse, or let's say for SQL database for the sake, where we are, having this. Now, SQL database, on the other hand, definitely it can't natively store in delta format because That's not the format which is preferred by the OLTPs, online transaction processing, because it's ultimately the OLAP one where it can happen because it cannot insert very fast in data format. So it do save into the native SQL database format or Azure SQL format, but immediately replicate it into a delta format tables so that you don't have to do that job. And now this delta format you can merge with all other data which is there in different lake houses, warehouses, either via views or shortcuts, and you can comprehensively analyze all this data together. So this ecosystem is providing. So this is all about storage. Then we have compute. Now, what would happen in in the case we would have created this kit using Azure? We would have bought different systems, and they might have their own consumption. They might use a computes, but here one single compute can run all these engines. Yes, and as a larger organization, you might need multiple computes. You can't run on one compute. One very powerful compute might not be able to do all the jobs. We sometimes need to distribute the jobs. Like some people want to distribute it by department. Let's say finance department can have its own compute. Sales could have its own compute. Similarly, we would like reporting to have its own workload or compute, and the data engineering to have its own compute. So such facilities are available. You can have multiple compute engines or multiple capacities in Microsoft Fabric if required, but one capacity can run everything. And then, so we are sorted on storage, format, and compute. And this entire platform is AI enabled. You will find copilots everywhere, which we are going to explore. And now we are adding data agents here. And that data agent, which we are going to see, you can now integrate that data agents with your other data agents in Copilot Studio. So integration with Copilot Studio is also available now, so that when you are building your other agents, you can have the bigger agent where you can also call your Microsoft Fabric agent. There is a very good article which is given on the blog.fabric.microsoft.com, which you can explore to get all these latest updates. So in Fabric, Copilot is everywhere. So as AI and LLM are growing, we don't want everybody to learn all the languages. We want them to know the logics and ask the co-pilots to code that. So you don't need to learn DAX, you don't need to learn Power Query. You can ask all those set of questions to your agents or your co-pilots. So whether it like the similar kind of job which you are doing on your, let's say what we call the Gemini or Grok or other LLMs, you can do the similar kind of job here on the Copilot. So today we are going to explore how can we use the Copilot to our advantage on the various stuff. So without getting much delay, we will enter this, and we will also explore data agent, which is kind of talking to your data. So let's move to Power BI. And this is my Power BI experience. You also have an experience which is known as app.fabric.microsoft.com, which is nothing but your main Fabric UI. But because we are from the Power BI world and we use Power BI a lot, what we do is we come to this Power BI experience, app.powerbi.com, this is Power BI experience, and this can also be reached directly from app.powerbi.com. So one of the URL you can use and you can utilize that. Now, to run Copilot or data agent in Microsoft Fabric, you need to have paid capacities. Though you can see I'm still having some trial available with me, I cannot use trial capacities. And those capacities are ranging from F2 very small capacity to a very large capacity, which is F2048. Previously, F64 onwards, which is again a capacity name, which is also equivalent of P1 in Power BI. In Power BI world, the capacity used to start from P1, which is equivalent of F64 here. That is the capacity. That capacity onwards, copilots were available. But recently, after the the conference in the month of March, April, we have got this facility now. We can even use a F2 capacity to run copilots. So now we don't need a larger capacity. We can run very small capacity, and that too, that capacity can be on demand. So right now I'm running an on demand capacity. If you see, I have already enabled my own demand capacity here, and using this, I'm going to run my Microsoft Fabric Copilots today. Now, what I'll do is I'll go to the workspace. So in Power BI or Fabric world, the workspaces are containers of your report, dashboards, warehouses, lake houses, and all other things which you create like pipelines, data flow, Gen2, etc. So I'll go to my workspace, and inside my workspace, I'll go to a workspace which is I've specifically created for Copilot, and I'm going to click on that. I opened this workspace, but before I go into the depth of that workspace and start using it, I just wanted to make sure that I'm using a paid capacity. How to check that out? Or even if you want to change it, how do you change it? You can change that within the same region. So you can go to workspace settings from the right top, license info, and inside the license info, you can verify which capacity you are using. So I'm using a paid capacity. That's what I wanted. So we have various places where this Copilot is available. Let's start with the data, the sales data. So I'll filter on data flow Gen 2. Data flow Gen 2 is basically your Power Query where you do the transformations. Okay, I can use one of these. Let's start with the copy sales data. It's opening right now. Now, the moment it has opened, you will see on the left-hand side, the Copilot is opening up. And the reason the Copilot is opening up, because I have used that in the past. But I'll tell you how to enable that. Now, there are a few settings which you should have done to enable this Copilot. They are at the tenant level. So in the tenant settings, I'm a tenant admin here. The settings icon is available with me. And admin portal. Admin portal, most of you will have access, but you might not have access to tenant settings. So in the tenant settings, Copilot need to be enabled. Okay. So there are settings like user can use Copilot and other features. Some of these settings need to be enabled. And also you need to enable the cross region capabilities. In some cases, what happens, your region might not have the AI capabilities, or it cannot run that LLM in your region. Then you need to enable the cross region stuff also. So that is where you are going to enable all these things. And then data agent also, you have a data agent which need to be enabled. So user can create and share data agents type preview feature is available, and that also need to be enabled. So I have already enabled all these settings, and now I will go back and try out. Now there is an icon for Copilot here, which you can use to use the Copilot. So if you click it, it remained open. I already clicked it last time, so it's already open. You can see I've created a query in the past from here. So what I can do is I can delete that query. And same way, I also added a column here inside this one. See, if you see this multiply column, this was added by Copilot. So I'm removing that. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ask the same set of questions to this Copilot now and try to add something. So what I would like here is I want to add a new column to my sales query, and we call it query. Usually we call it table, but in Power Query, we call everything as query. So sales query, I would like to add a new column, which is nothing but gross equals to quantity multiplied by price. Now I do have these two columns available in sales query, quantity and price. And let me press enter. Now Copilot is working on this. You have to remember that I'm using a very small capacity here. So timing and response can also depend on how much capacity is available with me. While Copilot is working on that, you can post your questions into the chat window. And as you can see, it has added a new step. What is that step is doing? Quantity multiplied by price. So what I would have done, I would have went to the add column UI, I would have, created a custom column, quantity multiplied by price. I'm not doing all those. I now even don't need to learn that step of Power Query of adding steps. I simply typing it and I'm instructing Power Query to add that step using Copilot. See, it's going to consume your compute units. How much compute units is consuming that you have to see. But right now I'm using a F2 capacity, and F2 capacity cost $262 per month if I continue to run that. I keep on stopping that to $262 for 1 month if you are continuously running it on US East Coast. The India rate may differ little. That's the cost we are incurring, but I usually stops it after I do my work. So if you're running 24/7, then it will cost that much, plus taxes and etc., which is going to apply. Now this is good. I can do that. Can I try out add an index column to query item? So you see a item query. I want to see, can it add an index column to that? And I'm here on the sales query, which is clicked. So is it able to understand and add it there? Or it is simply going to add it index column here? Or index column, it's a column which get added and we get an index on that, basically unique in the row number based on the data order which you have received. So the way you receive the order, it gives the index. If you want, let's say, index based on certain criteria, you can use ranking instead of index. So it's generated. I create the following query for you. It's created a query and let's see what it does. It did added an index column in that new query. So it did not added the column there, add an index column to query item. It did not find that. So what it does, it's actually added the new query and there it added it, but it still does the job for us. Fine, it can do the job also. Now what I want to do is I want to go back to the sales query and ask little more logical questions. Can it does that? So let me try out. Add a column in sales query. Quantity equal to 1 means low, quantity 2 means medium, and quantity 3 means high. And I do commit a spelling mistake here. Let's see, does it understand that? Now you can see in the same table, quantity category has been added as low, medium, and high. So now this time it's not simple logic. It does went ahead and created a else if. Okay, let's try. Can it merge queries? We saw that it can create a new query, but I want to add a new query now by merging two queries. Let's see how good does job it do. Add a new query by merging sales query and item query using inner join on item ID and item expand the column of item query to take brand. Let's see, does it understand that? So now we are asking it to create a new column, new query, actually, where it should merge the two existing query. I should have manually went ahead, selected sales or item, and then I should have used merge. Then I should have used join column. Okay, it's not able to understand. Sorry, I can't do that. Try rewording it, get data from, describe this query. Okay, let me change it. I'll try the instruction which I tried in the past. I have changed it a little bit. I'm not using item query again. Let's try it again. It did worked in the past, but this time it's not able to understand. Let's try it again. Okay, it's not able to understand. Let's Okay. We'll try little different section. If it doesn't work out, these are the some of the limitations of Copilot, which we know it is sometimes not able to understand. Now, this is the similar kind of queries worked in the past, but sometimes it doesn't get. So we just try to rephrase it and try to see if it can work. While it is trying, if you have further more questions, you can ask. Okay. So it's not able to understand. So what we are going to do is we are going to leave it here, and we will now go ahead and try out few more things. And now, first of all, we would like to see, can the end user use it? Because this is something which developer use. Some developers are also aware if it is even it's not creating, they can go ahead and do it. But what we wanted to do is, can our end users use it? That is one of the main concern we have. So let's search for report. Do we have any report where we can test it out? So we have these two reports. Let's try one of the reports. Let's open one of the reports. And then as an end user now, I would like to see, can I run a query here? So I'm an end user. I'm not going to go to the edit mode. I do have permission here to edit. I would like to enable the Copilot. And first thing I would like to know is, tell me about the semantic model. What semantic model I have? Okay. So the semantic model in your Power BI environment is designed to analyze and visualize business data such as customer details, sales transaction, product information, time-based trend, etc. Okay. So let me ask one question. Can it give me highest city by net, committing the mistake of spelling here? Let's try out. And I've knowingly kept it into the square bracket. I do have multiple measures which contain net. So can this go ahead and pick up the only net measure? Let's try that out. Now, depending on the experience where we are, it may take a little more time. Generating that sometimes can take a little more time. And also I'm on F2 capacity. In between, while it is doing that, if you have some questions, you can ask that in the chat window. At the end, we'll take up the questions. Let's wait for a few more seconds, or otherwise we'll open it, cancel and try another query. Okay, it did some job. It said that this is the city, brand B net. It taken some column. The query looks for all the city, calculate net value from brand B in each one. Okay, so and we can see advanced dex check, summarize column geography, city, brand B, brand 2 net. Based on that, it has taken it out. Okay. Okay. So let's try out. Can you consider only net major? Only net major or the above? Let's do chatting. Does it understand the context? Now I'm not talking about city. So does it understand the context? I say last query. Taking the underlying data. It's generating the DEX now. Okay, let's see. So still using the same one. So not able to understand maybe, and that's what we are going to check when we go inside. We'll check. Let's try out another. Give me top. Give me visual for top three brands by gross. Now let's try with gross. So net, we have a net major or not? We go inside and we'll check it out. But now let's try with gross. It does give us this one. I think one of you were asking what kind of queries it runs, so we can explore how does Copilot arrive with it. We can see that, and then top brand, how the what filters are applied, and let's see the DEX query. Brand, gross, major, filters applied, none. Explore the answer. If you want to further explore this answer by creating some other visual, you can do that. Okay. So brand, gross, top three by gross. Okay. So it has done top three. This is the filter already there. Okay. If you want to add additional filter, you can do. So you can analyze this data or you can open this in new tab and you will also be able to save this. Now let's try few more options. Margin of top three cities by net. Okay. Top three cities, Orlando, this margin percentage, discount percentage, margin percentage by city. Okay. This is what it has given. Let's ask something different. Show me revenue of cities in state New York. So I'm asking a question. Show me the cities in the state of New York revenue. Now revenues, there is nothing known as revenue in my data. So let us see what does it consider as revenue. Is it able to identify that or not? Does it able to put a filter of state on that and show us cities? So now we are asking a little complex query to this. And let me see while I'm doing this. See, most of the time the underlying logic, it do show us the query. Sometimes it might not show, but you should be able to see. Okay. The state of New York, Buffalo has the revenue this much. New York City has the revenue of this much. These are the figure present in the net revenue for each case. Okay. Now let's click over here. See, it is able to find it out into this visual and it is able. So if there is a visual present, then that's what happened with the end user. If there is a visual present, it is easily able to take that out. Okay. So here it refer to this visual and able to take it out. So down the line, we should have New York City and you can see these are the two cities and it has read from there. So it means if there is a visual, so what we can do is we can have some visuals which enables the end user to do it. Okay, but it did understand net is revenue or gross is the revenue. That is something which was not present here. So in this manner, we are able to do it. Now what we are going to do is can we edit it and can we write down something? So we edit it. We are into edit mode. Now I want to use the Copilot here. I am the developer. That was the end user view. Okay. So I from the end user view, I came to the developer view. Now as a developer, I want to take the full advantage of this Copilot. Let's first of all suggest the content for new report page, basically. What is the content I can get? Okay. So it is suggesting analyze the overall performance of key matrices, customer demographics. Okay. Explore the customer distribution by age. Then it is suggesting by brand and category, geographical trends. Okay. Some of the suggestions are already coming. Let's explore this. Let's ask for create. So evaluate sales and net performance by brand category. So it's added a new page. You have to wait for it to load. Still working on that. And you do see that it has added a page. Total net. That's what I'm saying, that I have multiple net measures. That confuses the Copilot. And that is where, when you're creating your semantic model for Copilot, we have something known as AI instructions also. We should always avoid to create those measures which create. So we should not create measures which create confusion. We should have always have very clear cut measures with the definitions and then have the Copilot instruction to make Copilot better. Now I have a net measure, then I have a total measure, total net sales and all those that create a lot of confusion. But still it is able to do that, do a good job. See here it has taken net, here it has taken gross, here it has taken net, and here it has taken gross. And for the total, it has taken the total measure. In spite of all those instructions, it does a really good job here. Okay. Now what I would like to do here is brand wise gross sales. That's simply just what we were asking there. Can we ask brand wise gross sales here also? Okay. Brand 8 has the highest gross sales followed by brand 3. Okay. And then it has a visual reference. So whenever it has a visual reference, it is going to simply give it to you. See, it was available. Now we'll say create a page to analyze net major by category, brand, city, state, and trend. That's it. Can it create a new page? Immediately it created a page. Very good. Show more. What all visuals it has added. Now I want to create a measure. Provide me a measure that gives me top 10 cities by net. I will use that in visual to get top 10 cities. So it is suggesting how can I do that. Now I want a measure. So I'll say give me a measure code. I do not want to use top end filter. Okay. So finally it is given me a measure. Look at this. Cities, top 10 cities net where top end 10 summarize customer customer city net value net by descending return if selected value in city column top end cities. Okay. So it does create a measure for us. We can go ahead and test that out. So in this manner it does. So let's say if we don't know about some feature, can we ask it how to use that? How to use smart narrative. So it does provide me how to use smart narrative. So you can learn, okay, where can I get help on Power BI if I face an issue? Now, this is not even related to this data. I'm just simply asking a question that where can I get a help? Okay. So it just tell me, okay, docs, Power BI community, Microsoft support, Power BI YouTube channel, Stack Overflow, get in help. So it's not only about generating pages, creating formula. It can tell you about new feature. It can recommend you some things. Can and let's see, does it only restrict to help or does it can go? Can you suggest me a video to learn Power BI? It's just asking some questions because that's how you do it in Chat GPT of the world. So let's see, does it have? Okay, so it does went ahead and see Microsoft Power BI YouTube channel gives Gynacube, Power BI full course from Edureka, Simply Learn, Power BI for beginners, practical tips. It does give it. Okay, so in this manner you can go ahead and uh, you know get these things from Copilot. So very effective, very helpful. So now we know, okay, Power BI, we are really strong. We can get text images, formulas, we can do all those things. But what happens? We don't work on Power BI too often. In Fabric, the role of Power BI is still further limited. What we are going to do is we are going to create lake houses, warehouses, run T-SQL queries, maybe run Python code and all those. So can it help it out there? So why don't we, let's say, leave this page? We are not going to save it and come out and go to our workspace. Now here there is a left hand side. We can see the icon for the to go quick icon or quick shortcut is there to go back. Now let's go to one lakehouse endpoint. So we first search on this. And I think those who are creating the new lakehouse, you will not get a default semantic model anymore. You will only get the lakehouse and the SQL Analytics endpoint for that. SQL Analytics endpoint means you can run T-SQL there. Now here, no relationship. It is not a semantic model which knows your relationship and everything. It is just simple plain lakehouse. Okay. And I want to run a new query here, but I don't know SQL. So what I say, okay, like can Copilot do the job for me? So I clicked on Copilot here. And as I'm using a paid capacity, you it's get enabled immediately, get started. Now I'll ask the similar set of questions here. And I'm not going to tell the formulas also, join also, nothing. I'm not going to tell what are the joins, how should you join it. Provide me query to analyze brand wise gross sales. What is gross sales? My data doesn't have gross sales. It's a quantity, it has price. I have no definition of, this thing. Let's see how does it do a job. It did give me a query. Very good. Let's put it on insert it in on the query window and see. So select I brand, sum of quantity multiplied by price is gross sales. And then sales table has been joined with item table on item ID, group by item ID, and order by descending. Let's run it. Does it work? Sometime it does miss out one square parenthesis I've seen in the past. But if this time seems the query is correct, if it is not correct, we might face that issue, but we can correct it. And here you go. Okay. Let's give a little more challenge to it. Top 10 cities by net. Net is gross minus discount amount. Discount percentage is absolute in the table and need to be divided by 100. We got one more query. Let's go. Let's have it. And what you see here is it calculated gross sales, it calculated discount, and it did calculated net sales for you. And let's run this query. So city wise, top 10, net. Here we go. And SQL one I have seen does one of the best jobs in terms of the way it behaves. I've tested multiple times. The answers are best in when we especially use it with T-SQL. So in this manner, we know now the Copilot can successfully work on our data flow Gen 2. It works on our pipelines. Sorry, it works on our uh, data flow Gen 2. It works on our report. It works on our lake houses. It works on edit mode of the Power BI. All these. Okay, very good. Let's go back to the lake house. Can it work with notebook? Isn't it? Okay. Why don't we try that out? So let's click on new notebook. Now, a lot of things have been done. We check SQL, we check Power Query, we check DEX. Can it help on PySpark or Spark SQL? Do we have something like that? Okay, let it load. So there is a Copilot here also. Okay, we started. Let's get started. Okay, it says load data from Lakehouse from database. Okay, so we say load sales data in sales data frame from Lakehouse. Anything, committing spelling mistake, just typing it out as fast as we can. Okay. Connect to the session first. Okay. We need to connect to the session. So let's start a session. Start new standard session. So it typically take 5 to 8 seconds. I do have seen little busyness in last couple of days in few environments where it did take 2 minutes. It depends on how much things you are running. If you are running multiple notebooks, your new notebooks can take a little more time to start. So now we have moved to preferably PySpark here. We are now asking new questions in notebooks. It's trying that now. Again, we have to understand F2 capacity uh, running a notebook which required multiple nodes to start. We don't have so many CUs to consume, compute units to consume. So you may experience little slowness here, and we required lesser kind of stuff to consume T-SQL. So you might have seen little results are a little faster there. So yes, Spark required a little more compute power, and that's where it does a great job because it is able to use that compute power, expand it across nodes and give you the results. So let's see what it does. Okay, something went wrong. Can you try it again? Let's see. Okay, we'll give the same instruction. Top 10 instruction from sales lake house tables. Let's see, does it work? And more than Copilot, sometimes it could be issue of a lower capacity, not able to get enough compute. We can try with a little higher capacity. Meanwhile, while it's doing, let me take up some of your questions. Yes, pipelines have also been supported. You will be able to create pipelines. You can ask in the pipeline in the Copilot to add some activities, bring in data and all those. And then you can do a little more configuration. And Copilot is also not about just creating. You can ask, how do I do that particular job? It should be able to help you out. Now, after this one, what we are going to do is we are going to jump on data agent. Now, data agent is something which you can create on multiple stuff. You can create it on the lake houses, warehouses, or semantic model. Okay. So what we can see is it did job here. It did city total, not sales. Oh my God, it has done everything. It given you formula and everything. What are the top 10 price? Filter the data. Okay. So the Copilot itself has done a job. Okay, and given us all these things. So you are able to use it here. Now we are going to stop this Spark session here and going to jump onto the workspace, back on the workspace. And now we will try to create a new data agent. Now, just to save the time, what I can do is I can tell you how to add a data agent, and then I can, instead of giving the instruction back and the queries back, I can show you how to do that. So click on new item, search for data agent. Again, data agent need to be enabled at the tenant level. If your admin has not enabled, only admins can enable. Okay, I cannot do it unless I cannot go ahead and do it unless I'm an admin. So test demo 001. What is asking? No spaces. Then you create an agent. Agent can be created on semantic models, on the lake houses. I already have a lake houses agent created. So just for your reference, I may go ahead and showcase you how to create it on semantic model. We can use the semantic model, which we are bringing in here. So how to do that? So you can first have to add the data source. So I have data sources like sales, lakehouse, warehouse. Let's search some of the semantic model in this one. Okay, this workspace itself, we have this end-to-end visual calculation. Let's use it. Add. So data agent is basically a semantic model data agent, a lakehouse data agent, a warehouse data agent. All those possibilities we can have. Hopefully it added something. Still working or what? Okay. Okay. And in this one, what I can do is I don't need so many things, isn't it? Customer, date, geography, item, sales, and majors, because majors have major, and I think top end do have some majors. So let's take only this much, isn't it? And we will go ahead and ask the same question we have asked some time back. Top 10 cities by net. Well, that's favorite question. Okay. And here I don't need to provide actually that instruction. Ideally it should use. And now till now I have not used this AI instruction. I have not added the example queries, which is also possible here, which I'm going to showcase you on the warehouse one. Sorry, lakehouse one. But let's still go ahead and try this out. Ideally, it should be able to get a net major. It should not need to create it. Details. Analyzing end-to-end with semantic model showing top 10 cities, rank where net is the calculated, gross minus discount, amount discount, percentage values are in absolute. Okay. It did a job. One step completed, analyzed, any details further, and it gives us a query. Okay. So gross discount, amount discount, and multiply by divide by 10 sum x. Look at this. Now I've given an instruction. I force it not to use my major, isn't it? There is a net major which is possibly available in the system, which it has not used. Now, can we simply say top 10 cities by net major? And does it do a different job? Or does it take from the last one? Because it has executed one instruction already. So does it get inspired by that instruction again calculating it, or it just try to find it out into the source again and get the major, which is net? So you're testing that out. The details are coming out. Let's further look into this one. And this time, if you see, it did went ahead and use the major. So summarize column this, then you evaluate top end using that, and then it has given that. So look at the difference. The way we have given the instruction can also decide. So it does mean that it is not that you need to have every formula in your semantic model when you are chatting with data agents. I have not given any instruction. I have not given any sample query. My model is set up. Only that model right now is working. This is one example. Without any setup, it's working. It's doing its job on the semantic model, and it's able to create new calculation on the fly calculations which are not available in the system. We have instructed it, forced it to create new set of calculation, and it is able to do that as long as it is able to find the base measures. It's just based on the instruction. Now let's look at one more. Now I can save it. It's by default it is saved, and you want to share with others, you need to publish it. And if you do the clear chat, any learning from the previous chats may go away. It's just a chat basically continuously ongoing. So it do learn from that. I would like to show you one another agent which I have already created in the past. This is the demo agent which I created in the past. Now in this agent, what I've done is I do have given instruction. It is basically the SQL one, which is I have added a lake house and I did edit some tables. Okay, it doesn't contain anything. Hold on, where is the agent gone? Let's filter on the agents. Hmm. One of them should have something for us. Let's see. Otherwise, we can give an instruction and start using it. That's not a problem. It does understand. It does a good job. I just wanted to show you one which is having the instruction already. Okay, so seems like this one has, let's it load. So if you can see, there is instruction set of instruction I've given. I given the net formula, the gross formula, and all those I have given here. I did have given example queries here. So you can go and edit that. So I do have example queries. So so this is a little bit of training done. Last agent we did not train, but this agent we did train it, isn't it? Now let's ask some questions. Okay. I did talk about top 10 cities, but I did not talk about a term revenue. So I use the term revenue. One step I'm completed. Okay, let's try something different. We are reaching to the end of our and I will be open to questions. So please get ready with your questions. You can start typing into the chat window. Okay. So it does given us that. Okay. Let's ask it. How did you arrive to the gross formula? So it did tell me about that. Let's ask one more. Gross for last month. Now, I don't have a last month actually because my data is pretty old. It's end in 2020 or 2022, depending on which version of file I've used. I have this data on GitHub. You can also utilize, and I've created a new version of data which has which is not as smooth as that star schema which previously I had. And she smartly done the job. The total gross sales for the last month data set is this. The value represent. Okay, so it did arrive to the last month sales based on the data. Okay, so now here we will open for Q&A forum. Rajinder, now we can take the Q&A. You
Yes.
can unmute folks and they can ask.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Amit. And Aditya, you can ask your question. Already unmuted.
Hi, Amit. Thanks for this wonderful session. Actually, I'm currently working on this data agent project in my organization where we have a 500 GB analytical database, which is HR related data. So I need to create few, like there are few reports are there, like around 500 reports, which few are in Tableau and everything. So can I use that reports and create, or else we need to bring that data to the Fabric SQL or data warehouse and create this data agent?
See, anything which is in Fabric or Copilot that actually need the data to be available in Fabric. But yes, there are other agents which are available which can read through that, like outside which you can do. Maybe you can use Azure AI and push your data there, and then you can do the job here. But for Fabric, we need to have data in Microsoft Fabric, especially right now for the data agent, the kind of sources which are allowed. But let's click on the sources. If you see here right now, we are getting the sources which are only Fabric specific. Okay. Uh, it's only the one lake catalog which we are seeing. So right now it is limited by that.
Yeah, and for the POC you mentioned, right? You are using the paid capacity, like pay as you go. So how much
Yes.
generally it costs? Like per month, okay, it is $262 something. But once you stop and start approximate, like to just showcase this demo to the client.
So let's say now I am done with that. I can pause it. So usually I think per minute it costs around 10 rupees or something if we convert to Indian rupees. I think typical calculation is the cost divided by 720. 30 days, 24 hours. You divide it, you get the per hour cost. It actually charge, I think, per 30 second or per minute, something like that. So you are not going to incur too much. That's why I use this F2 capacity for all the demos.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
And at the end of demo, I just go ahead and pause it. And even if it runs, it doesn't cost too much. Yeah, so that is why it's very safe capacity to work with. So, but yes, definitely you should remember it, or otherwise set up. If it is idle for some time, then you can close it. You might have to set up some rules. It might not work automatically.
Yeah, maybe I need to create a trigger uh, job.
Yeah.
Hi, Srikar,
See,
unmuted.
create.
You can speak.
Yeah.
Can you
Aditya,
hear
is
me?
that? Yes,
Can
yes,
you hear
yes,
me?
please. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, Amit. Thank you so much for the
Hi,
session.
Srikar.
So the question that I had was, I was having a conversation with one of the industry leaders in the senior position, where I was introducing them to Fabric and why it is much better than, like it has a unified platform and all. I was explaining all that. So his question was, so do you mean to say that any kind of, for example, if I want to, though a particular database is not, I mean, the cloud that we are using is not Azure, do you mean to say that like a GCP and a AWS also can Fabric integrate? I mean, can we, share the pipe? I mean, can we use the pipelines that we have used there, and without any, or is there any feasibility where we can convert those pipelines into in Fabric, and does it have that capacity? That was his question for which I didn't have an answer.
Okay, so I'll tell you there are various ways when we do have data on GCP or AWS. So either there is a mirroring available for your database, you can mirror. Now, mirroring has its own free storage, but it has a cost of moving data across clouds because Fabric data need to be Fabric native to use its capability of direct lake and everything. If the tables are available in data format, like it can do the kind of a direct query to that database. Like for Snowflake, there is a, I think, recent update where uh, Fabric is supporting the iceberg format so that you can work with Snowflake. And then if mirroring is there, you will get another aspect to that by using the iceberg format, where you may be able to directly run the query there, the iceberg format query, or you can have the Fabric data looking like an iceberg format data, and Snowflake can query. Those kind of integrations are coming in. Mirroring is already there. Shortcuts are already there. Shortcuts, table shortcuts, and the file shortcuts. You can use that. But yes, in some other cases, uh, we do bring in the data to the Fabric. Now, typically what we are doing is, let's say you are pretty stable in your data engineering and you don't want to change that. You say, no, my data engineering is stable, but my choice of tool is Power BI. And I want to use all those features, or data agents and all those notebooks, like my data scientist can do job. I like that, all those features. What in that case is you can use Fabric pipelines either to bring in the data, or you can push using some of the pipelines. We do have endpoints using which you can push to the data to the Fabric. So either a push or pull mechanism, you bring only your gold data here. Now using that gold data, you can run your data agents, you can create your Power BI reports, and you can run your notebooks, do data science, and integrate it with all your other AI stuff. So you keep it only for AI and visualization layer at the moment to start with by moving your gold data. Though gold data is definitely duplicated here, But anyway, you have to understand if it is a Tableau, it's a Power BI. If they are your choice of tool, import mode works best. Direct query would not have given you that kind of performance. So anyway, you are importing data in Power BI. So if you are one who's outside the Fabric world, data engineering is happening outside the Fabric, and you say, no, I don't want to disturb data engineering. It's a long-term vision. Just move your gold data to the Fabric and start using it with Power BI, and slowly new content can be built here, or you can continue to do your data engineering. Whenever mirroring is available, prefer mirroring, prefer copy job, prefer shortcuts, and prefer any kind of other facilities, which is basically making sure your data has to move less and less. So these things will keep on adding. We will keep on having more things for mirroring, more things for shortcuts.
Thank you so much for the detailed explanation. One more question that I was wanting to ask. So, since I told you that we were doing a click to a Power BI project, so in click I have seen a capability where we compress the data, whether be it is a data model. Whenever we are getting the data into a click sense, it compresses. It has a capability where it compresses the data, by which the loading time or all these things are taken care of. So now when I was actually building a data flow which contains around 9.3 million records, so it took around 40 minutes for me to load a data of 7 GB in a data flow. So do we have any features in Fabric which is available where the load time can be reduced when we're handling huge amount of data?
Okay. First of all, when you save it, it do save it in data Parquet format, which reduces the size. Then when you are using PySpark notebooks to create a table, there are certain features which like write optimize and all those which you can use, which can also improve the performance. Similarly, in Dataflow Gen 2, make sure the fast copy is enabled for your data source. Prefer data pipelines or copy job. They are more meant for the purpose. So try copy job, try data pipelines, followed by Dataflow Gen 2 with fast copy. And also when creating the table, you can try out having partitioning or, write optimization techniques by creating those tables using the notebooks.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that our client asked us to use only Gen 1 for now. So we were running the data flow in Gen 1. We created that in Gen 1. The data flow was a Gen 1.
Gen 1 data flow, I don't think you can directly land the data into lakehouses or warehouses. Ultimately, it has to become part of a Gen 2, and then you have a set of a destination.
So
I don't think Gen 1 is still the older mechanism. Yeah, it doesn't have fast copy.
So it's not a good. So we can suggest that we should move to Gen 2, right?
Gen 2, or preferably if the source support data pipeline or copy job, I would prefer to go for those. Then, and definitely Dataflow Gen 2 does a good job, especially with SAP. If you're bringing SAP data, Dataflow Gen 2 does a good job.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Amit. Thanks, Rajan.
Thank you, Srikar. And Praveen, you can unmute yourself. Praveen?
Yeah, hi, Amit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi, Amit. So I have a couple of questions. So here, when I was trying to work on pipelines and all, it is prompting on the top to move the pipelines to Fabric. So just wanted to know, is there any difference or updates on, let's say, the ADF in Fabric and the regular ADF? So because since Microsoft itself is prompting us to move into Fabric, so is it stopping any updates or any new features in the old actual Azure data factory and adding anything on Microsoft Fabric?
I am not sure. I don't heard anything about Azure Data Factory is going away. Azure Data Factory will continues to grow, but definitely Fabric is the choice of tool which Microsoft is pushing. And Fabric Data Factory, you can create pipelines. Partners like us has created also the migration tool, like our company did have created a ADF to FDF migration tools. The other partners could also have done. Microsoft might be also working on some migrations. I think Synapse, they are already giving some kind of migration for notebooks. So that's, I think, got announced some time back, or maybe we might have some more announcement coming on all such features in upcoming Fab conference, where you will get a lot of migration stuff, or if there is something which is getting, uh, discontinued or all those, but I have I haven't heard anything which is going away from Azure Data Factory. I think it is continued to grow as I don't have any information around that.
Yeah. Okay. And the next one is whatever the prompts or the table changes that we are doing through the Copilot, right? Are they getting recorded so that we can, if we want to do a rollback of something like that, we added some column or that we change the data type through the Copilot, so that statements are getting logged somewhere so that we can see them what were recorded.
See, it depends on where you are doing. So if you are doing a step in, let's say, Power Query does record all the steps.
Mhm.
So you can roll back. You're doing in, let's say, notebooks might end step by step into new cells. So you have a recording, you can look back.
Mhm.
But if you are doing something
Okay.
like in DEX, we don't have a recording of
Mhm.
columns. So if, let's say, I don't think it's right now allowing you to add a measure, but very soon it would be able to add measure directly
Mhm.
onto the semantic model. But if it adds, there is no
Okay.
recording. Today also, if I create a formula, I don't have a recording. I just check whether I read it. So it depends which technology you are using. If the technology is supporting the step, this thing means definitely if you open your Copilot older queries, you may see in some cases if it's already available what you have run. Like data agent definitely shows you the history unless you clear it. But steps would be dependent on the technology.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you.
Thanks, Amit. Thank you, Kevin. Shashi, you have any queries?
Yes, sir. Hi, sir. Thank you for insightful session. Sir, can you share a specific beginner-friendly learning path
For Fabric or for Power BI? Oh, sorry, for
Fabric,
Fabric
sir,
or for Copilot?
for Fabric and
Fabric,
Copilot, sir?
so for Copilot, I think the thing here is basically you do have Microsoft documentation around it. So for if you see, there are two learning paths which Microsoft has given, DP600 and DP700. Those are the learning part. I have very recently also ran a series in English and Hindi. You
Yes.
can watch those videos and start with those. If you want, there are two playlists. I can give the links of those playlists if you wanted to have that. Those can have good start followed by the content. So and also if I think everybody might be aware that DP600 and 700 50% discount coupons will get extended by Microsoft. So those of you who are looking to give that exam can take the full advantage of that discount. I also give that link to you, and even PL300. So I'll also give that link to you. So I think and there are channels where you have like a couple of channels where you have the longer videos, like 10-hour videos or something. That's a good starting point. Udemy courses could also be there, but Microsoft Learn Path for DP600 should be the good starting point, followed by 700 Learning Path, which has additional content, and channels like us is there, and then definitely there is a documentation. It just gives you the starting point, and then I think some of you who has participated of those boot camp, I did given you the logins and I did helping out. Some of you got the workspaces created because you are able to add the capacity and got the pro trials also, and others folks I have given the workspaces created, pre-created workspaces where you can do the job. So if you are still looking and you should means it maybe I think Shashi was part of that boot camp, but if there is someone who's not part of that boot camp still wanted to have some learning email IDs, do ping me on my WhatsApp group. I have already given the link in the starting. You can join that and you can check out if you need logins. We have and done with we are already finished with the bootcamp, so we'll not be able to have more classes. But yes, you can watch the existing recording and you can also get some logins to play around with.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And probably the last question, Krishna, please go
Yes.
ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Amit. Thanks for the session. So I have one question. Will Copilot will work for the migration of reports?
I have not seen Copilot working for migration of report, and I'm thinking you are asking migration of Power BI import mode to Power BI direct click mode, or it is Tableau to Power BI. Like any could thing could be migration. Now
No,
there
it
is
is
a
a
semantic. Please go ahead.
yeah SSRS report. We are migrating to a Power BI. So do we have any specific functionality for Copilot to change these reports?
No, I have not seen unless you train the Copilot on the both the codes. I think you have to do it. Uh, and usually, again, we did have created a tools like that SSRS to Power BI migration, these kind of stuff. I think you will get it with a lot of partners already having that thing. Otherwise, you have to train your Copilot. So basically, you have to get this is my SSRS format, and if I convert it into Power BI, this is going to format. that is going to learn, and then from there it can do. Most probably you might have to train an open AI agent onto the Azure than to the Fabric agent here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Amit. Thanks for answering patiently to everyone. And thanks for doing this.
Thanks, Rajendra, for the opportunity. Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone, being there on a Saturday morning, taking out time to attend this conference. I appreciate all of you attending this, and we will continue to have